All right, hey, good folks. So now what we're doing is something that's a little bit different. Okay, so before we had the function and the equation of the transformation, and now we're given the transformation and we're asked to write the function. So let's go ahead and get started. I've written out the example 3. It says, let the graph of G be a vertical stretch by a factor of 2 and a reflection in the x-axis, followed by a translation 3 units down of the graph of f of x equals x squared. Write a rule for G and identify the vertex. So just some things that I want to point out. And I'll read word problems twice or 3 times if need be, even more if I have to. So the things that's important is that it says let the graph of G be a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. So this right here is important. We're doing a vertical stretch, and our vertical stretch is by a factor of 2. Okay, then what we're going to do is a reflection in the x-axis. So something is going to change. That's going to be another part of the transformation. And then the last thing that we're going to do is a translation 3 units down. Okay, so we're going 3 units down as well. And we want to write a rule for G and identify the vertex. So we're also doing the vertex as well. Okay, so first things first, this rule here, this is just another way to say write an equation. Okay, and just how I annotated on this paper, yes, I use the English word annotate. You're going to have to point out the things that you need as you approach these problems as well. Okay, so here's how I like to do it. Okay, first things first is that I know anything that's vertical, it is what it is. Okay, so if the first thing that you're asked to do is a vertical stretch by 2, then here's what I know in the back of my mind. Let me write it out. Oh shucks, give me just a second. Okay, so what I wanted to do was make sure that I wrote out vertex form for you. I know you have it on ClassKick, but sometimes you need things a little bit closer when you're working out a problem. So here's the thing. We know we have a vertical stretch by 2. Okay, so and then also the other thing that we know is that we have a reflection in the x-axis. Okay, so both of these reflection in the x-axis, both of these can be done and represented by the a variable. Okay, so all the way in the front, this a determines vertical stretches or shrinks, and if we make it negative, then that represents what happened when our graph go from opening upward to opening downward. Sorry, you can't really see, but that means that our a variable in this case is going to be a -2. Okay, so I know that if I start off by writing G of x equals a -2, open parentheses, x, and that's, I'm gonna stop right there. Okay, so we took care of what is in purple and green, or the first 2 parts of the transformation, and then it says to do a translation 3 units down. Well, that's also something that's considered vertical as well, and when we move the graph up or down, that's the k variable. So we want to go, let's see, I could say shift, but I'm gonna write translation 3 units down. And what happens when we do our translation 3 units down, well, that affects our k variable. So in this case, k is going to be, since we're going down 3 units down, it's going to be a -3. Now if we were going up, it would be a +3 or +3. I wouldn't even need to put anything there. So we've taken care of what's in red. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to do, we don't have anything left or right, it doesn't say, so this could just be 0 squared. And then for our k value, we're going to put a -3. Okay, so that is our rule there in vertex form done for you. But what we want to do is simplify this a little bit. We don't need x minus 0. So what we can do is we can rewrite this as g of x equals, since we don't need x minus 0, then we can rewrite this as -2, and x is still squared. Or I can write it as 2, since I'm doing -0. I can write it like that and still just bring down the -3. So all I did in this step here, if you want me to write it down, is I subtracted 0, which really and truly we just got rid of 0. And then here what I can do is I can simplify this by doing a little bit of multiplication. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And my reason for doing that is because I want to get rid of those parentheses. They're really not needed, okay? So I can write this as g of x equals -2 x squared minus 3. Okay, and then one thing that I kind of jumped over, but when we had our equation here in vertex form, what I want you to notice is that h, remember our vertex is h comma k. So our horizontal translation and then our vertical translation. So in this case for h, in a place we had 0. And in the place of k, we had a -3. So that's going to be our vertex. So if I was going to say, well, what's my answer? Here is my answer right in here. That's my vertical stretch as well as reflection, and my vertical movement up. I'm sorry, down by 3. I don't know why I just said up. Always trying to think about things positive. Going all the way up. Just playing. But anywho, that's my approach really to doing these. Okay, there is another method. If you want to see that, then just let me know. But for right now, I am good if you can just identify what is happening and apply it to vertex form. Okay, so if you have any questions, as always, your teachers are here. We would love to support you. If there's anything that we can do, just let us know. Okay, so that's going to be that. I'll do another example in just a moment. Okay.